There has only ever been one Call of Duty game to get released with no campaign. That Call of Duty is Call of Duty Black Ops 4, as you're seeing here. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that where there is no campaign, there's still quite a big backstory. This story takes place in the year 2045, following Savannah Mason. As it turns out, this is Alex Mason's granddaughter, and more specifically, she is the world's first trillionaire. And in fact, she has a sister, another one of Alex Mason's granddaughters, going by the name of Jessica Mason. Now, there's a whole background and bad seeded history between the two of them, but essentially the trillionaire Savannah, she ends up putting together a company that creates direct neural interfaces, augments for super soldiers, and end up creating the operators that are in Black Ops 4. And each of those has their own backstory, so on and so forth. And that is the story of that game. But as I mentioned, there is no campaign. Now, why do I bring this up? Because based off of leaks that we are hearing about the next Call of Duty game, Call of Duty 2025, it is supposed to take place in the year 2035, being a sequel to Black Ops 2 and a prequel to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, taking place right between those two games. So right as the direct neural interfaces and right as this story is about to begin. But the other rumor that came out yesterday is that this campaign that is set to come out next year is complete and utter garbage. So today we're going to be diving into these leaks, discussing whether or not they are real, what it means for the campaign and story of Call of Duty moving forward, and how this kind of fits in with everything we know about the game. Black Ops 7 isn't looking good, and we're going to dissect that one. So this comes from someone by the name of Ghost of Hope. Now, how reputable is this actual leak? It seems like someone just kind of talking crap, right? Well, this is actually the person that leaked in the year 2022 that Modern Warfare 3 was going to be coming out and essentially going to be a DLC for Modern Warfare 2. On top of that, essentially Treyarch was going to be making the next two Call of Duty games, which, based off of the rumors that we are hearing from everyone else and around the Call of Duty community, he has been right about everything that has come out since Modern Warfare 2. So a very, very long time and a very reputable history. So when we see this and see that he's saying from what he is hearing behind the scenes, it is not going well over there, we can pretty much take that is the sentiment behind the scenes. Now, the question is why? Well, in a follow-up to this, Nero actually asked if it's because of the open world nonsense that Modern Warfare 3 had, and Ghost of Hope responded saying, sounds worse than Modern Warfare 3's version, to be honest. Now, to this goes back to those original leaks that we looked at. The fact that it's in 2035, it's supposed to have wall running, and there are supposed to be massively open world missions. And if you don't know why this is a bad thing, maybe you're thinking an open world Call of Duty might be a good thing, you may be forgetting this.
Modern Warfare 3 introduces open combat missions, which for the first time allows players the choice of how to complete objectives based on their preferred playstyle.
What that actually translated to is these were missions where we ran out of time to actually put a good narrative, good story, and good cutscenes to, so we just took an open world that we had, predominantly with Verdansk, and placed it into the campaign and filled it with BS and missions quite literally you could complete in 5 minutes if you knew what you were doing, and everyone hated these Warzone wannabe missions. Because that's exactly what it ended up being. You ran around, you picked up armor plates, it felt like you were playing Warzone with none of the direction of campaign whatsoever. Now, it gets even worse than this, because again, if we go back to the leaks, where is this campaign set to be taking place? In none other than Avalon. And again, this was backed up by another Ghost of Hope tweet yesterday, basically reassuring that it's going to be in Avalon, which is a fictional location made in Black Ops 6, and probably honestly the worst part of the campaign in Black Ops 6, but it wasn't all horrible, and we'll come back to that in a second. However, yeah, it seems like a big majority of this campaign in Black Ops 7 is supposed to be taking place there. And believe it or not, this world has already been built out. So like in Modern Warfare 3, where we saw Verdansk come into the open combat missions there, this time it is Avalon, because they built Avalon to be a new Warzone map, but it never came out because of, oddly, the re-release of Verdansk once again. So if you go on a map like Stakeout and go into theater mode or go into spectating mode, you can actually go out and see kind of like this overarching world and what it looks like. Apparently, the Black Ops 7 campaign is set to take place on here in a big open world mission or missions. But here's what's curious about this. You would think since Black Ops 6 just came out and we're getting Black Ops 7 next year, the campaign would be more of the same. And in Black Ops 6, we got a super curated experience where essentially each mission kind of had its own directive and its own push forward, was very linear, very thought out. And I think most people thought, whether you liked the story or not, the campaign was fun, good, and like they put together a good thing, kind of like what they did with Black Ops Cold War. So you would think moving into Black Ops 7, we would expect more of the same thing. Well, again, according to Ghost of Hope, not really the case. Because you see, according to the Ghost of Hope, after Black Ops 6 was released, or actually shortly before, the team working on the campaign, aka Raven, a bunch of them left the studio. Therefore, that team that made the Black Ops 6 campaign is no longer there. Hence why the game is in shambles and they can't quite figure out exactly what they're going to do with the campaign and reusing assets that are already created, aka Avalon. Now, you may not realize why this is such a big deal. First of all, the reason why I don't like Avalon in Black Ops 6 is because historically, going back to Black Ops 1 or even in the future in Black Ops 2, or I guess in this case, the present, their games are based in reality. In Black Ops 1, you go in and try to assassinate Fidel Castro. JFK gets assassinated. All of the locations in the game are real-world locations where real wars happen that you are being put into one snippet of a story from that battle. That is what Black Ops is rooted in. When you create a fake narrative or create a fictional location like Avalon, all of a sudden the roots and the base of a Black Ops game are no longer there. You are no longer based in reality, based in real world events, because even in the future Black Ops games like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, they still based it in the real world and created a fake future that in some cases, like Black Ops 2, have completely became reality. So here's the thing, and here's where it kind of gets weird. Things are not looking good for the campaign of the next game. Now, technically, it could come out. They could have an open world Avalon campaign, and somehow it's amazing. Except everyone is going to question it the second we hear that it is open world because of everything that we saw with the open combat missions for Modern Warfare 3. So that speculation is already there. And then there was one other leak that people are already second guessing as well, and that is the fact that wall running might be being added to Omni movement within Black Ops 7. So with that future warfare, the wall running would make a return, which if you're asking me, I wouldn't mind switching up the movement and changing things up for a year, which appears to be what they are actually doing. Because from the final leak from the Ghost of Hope as of yesterday, apparently, with Modern Warfare 4, Infinity Ward may be looking to remove Omni movement altogether. Apparently, with the current build of the game that they have, Omni movement is completely out, and we are seeing more of that tactical gameplay that Infinity Ward is known for. But I also think this is part of the problem. You see, the person that slowed down Call of Duty as a game with Modern Warfare 2019 and then further with Modern Warfare 2 was someone by the name of Pat Kelly. He was kind of the studio head at Infinity Ward at the time, and now is the creative director of Call of Duty at Activision. He basically has the biggest role that there is with Call of Duty, overseeing every single one of the games. And we know that he likes these more tactical style shooters. So with Infinity Ward bringing back Modern Warfare 4, I am guessing he is going to push the game in that direction. But with each of these games kind of having a different feel, I almost see it as a bad thing to have too much oversight. I kind of just think we need to let the studios cook. With too much involvement, we run into problems like this, where there's now going to be an open world campaign in a fictional universe in a Black Ops game, just seemingly not really making any sense. So with all of this up in the air, it leads to one final thing. Believe it or not, we are actually a lot closer than you may think to the reveal for this next Call of Duty game. You see, 10 years ago today is when Black Ops 3 was first revealed. And in fact, 8 years ago yesterday was when Call of Duty World War II was first announced. You see, this kind of like end of April through May time period is traditionally when we see the reveals for the next Call of Duty game. Sometimes it gets pushed into June, but I would say within the next month, we should hear at least something. Unless the game is really down bad, unless they are really behind, unless we don't know what they're actually going to be releasing this year, whether or not we'll even be getting a campaign altogether. Because believe it or not, that's what happened with Black Ops 4. They had a campaign in the works, they built it out, it sucked, so they removed it altogether, worked on something else, that being Blackout, and then kept the story in the game with the cutscenes, but removed all of the actual campaign gameplay. Could that happen once again? Could history be once again repeating itself?
We are